In this video I'm going to be talking about the developed demo of the song All I Know, which I've been working on. This is a re-recorded upload. I re-recorded it and I've re-uploaded it. For some reason when I went back onto my YouTube account, a lot of the videos were corrupted or just were very fuzzy and unable to see anything, so I'm having to re-record this at a later date, but I'm still able to talk about what I was thinking at the time, so I do remember. So I'll just play the drop and then we'll just sort of go through it. So that's what the main bit of the song sounds like, the drop. I'm just going to go through every sort of element and sort of the process behind it and where I'm wanting to say what I think needs to be improved. So I'll start off with the drop itself. So it starts off, so we'll go element by element. So it starts off with a kick. So this is the original kick, this one. But I want some more high end to it, so I've added two samples to it. One's like a top kick, and the other's just a percussion sample, and together they sound like this. And they just add a bit of click and a bit of top end to the kick, so when you add that to the original kick it sounds like this. Next we've got the bass line, which looks like this, and it sounds like this. So it flicks between octaves, it sort of bounces about, which is what I want, that sort of like a bounce effect. So it's made up of two sounds, one being this sort of replica of a real bass, and this sub bass, which just doesn't fit between octave, it just stays on one. And the processing on those is really simple. So on the replica bass, I've just got some sidechain on it. Just makes the way of frequencies the kick can punch through. I've got some EQ on it, free EQ on it. That one's just adding a bit of click to it, top at around 1800 Hz. Just sort of dipping around the mid-low frequencies so it doesn't interfere with any chords or any sub that's in it. Here I'm just taking out a low end to make room for the sub and the kick. And this EQ, I don't think it's doing anything. I just take out more low end, and this one's doing nothing. So. And on top of that we've just got some distortion with camel crusher, just to give it a bit more grit. And then on the sub, very similar, I've got a sound dies, it just makes it a bit louder, a bit more powerful. Some kickstart to do the sidechain, and some EQ to take out more of that sort of low area, mid-lower here, around 150 to 200 Hz. And then we've got just a high cut to take away those high frequencies. So with the kick, it sounds like this. And then next we've got these chords which sound like this. It's this MIDI pattern, but I've had to export it because it was taking up a lot of my CPU. But and on top of that, I also lost a plugin, but it's from XFP Avenger. I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, I used a demo version. I exported the sound which I used for it. It's a really nice sound. It's a bit of like a maroon sound. The MIDI is from my from this musical experiment where I got inspired by the DJ Snake and North song A Different Way. That I used this free plugin called, I've still got it here because I think I was experimenting with it. Maroon Phonic, this one. but I changed those sounds. I wanted it a bit softer, a bit like marimba, sort of sound like a xylophone, and I think this really fits the genre well. And with the kick and bass line, it sounds like this, obviously. And then next, I consider that the most important element of good chords. I think it just drives the track. It's prominent throughout the song. So yeah, and then on top of that, I've got this chord, this vocal chop. And this vocal chop is from my sound design experiment where I made this loop. Which I really like the loop initially, but I want to sort of try and experiment with it, so I tried to try chopping it up and cutting another rhythm. It's just that first sort of chop and then the next bar of it. And that just is quite nice. And the processing on this, I wanted it to be really distorted, so it comes here. On it, I've got some reverb. I've got a balance to control the volume of it. At certain parts of the song, I think I actually took off. I've got some distortion. I'll take it and show what each pedal does. This one, the camera just has a bit of grace on the top end. I've got some more distortion up there. And I've just got some reverb to put it in the space. And I've just got some EQs. I've got a kickstart again to do a sidechain, just like that. And then I've just got some EQs to sort of clear up the sound. This is, I could just take out again that sort of low mid-range frequencies I didn't want. I've got a low cut to take away all the low frequencies which I didn't want. So that's the vocal chop in the song. So at the moment we have this to take on. And then yeah, so that's the drop, and then the second half of the drop it's just adding some more elements. I've just got a kick and a clap and a loop. The hi-hat, they're from the same sample pack which I found Splice, just chopped up and used. There's no processing on them, apart from obviously balancing them. That's really it. I'll go backwards a bit now and I'll talk about the build-up. So this is the build-up. So it starts off with the chords again, which I've already spoken about, some kicks and snaps. So I'll just take the kick from just doing a drop into percussion, and then this is snap from a Vengeance half back. A lot of reverb on it, a nice sort of long decay, and then with this snare. Just add a bit of like spice, not spice, but to add a bit of energy to it. It's a bit offbeat, really nice and syncopated, and really worked in the song. Along the chords, I've just got this extra snare in the one to make up for the fact that that snare didn't have, because if I didn't have it, I think it sounded a bit strange. I needed that in the one just to sort of get that sort of form feel to it. And then we have these sort of effects, we have these white noise. The vocal sort of riser, which is just from Splice. I've got some more white noise here. Yeah, so those are the effects, so all with no processing on them. And then we go into this sort of sub-drop thing, along with a crash. And then this vocal sample goes All I Know, which I found in Splice. All I know is. Really simple. All I know is. All I know is. Which I don't think I've got any processing on it, but yeah, I don't have any. Something connects to the chain that just worked really well. All I know is. That's the build up. And at the end of the drop, also, let's go back to the drop, I've got some which just adds, it just helps it transition between elements, between sections of the song. As you can tell with the crashes in the song as well, that they play on the second beat, just to add that sort of like tension and then release it, so it's like bring you up and then bring you down. Just a nice little effect which I use to add a bit more bounce to the song. And now I'll just talk about the verses, which the verse sounds like this. And then, yeah, so that's the verse essentially. It's very much focused on those pluck marimba style chords that I built, which I made in my musical experiments back in the start of the project. So I start with the chords, which is the chords of the marimba. So I was just sustaining, turning softer velocity with some a few extra notes on top to make it seem like a real piano player playing it. And the processing on that is just some OTT, which is a compressor. Just adds a bit more, gets a bit loud, a bit more power to it. I'll just take out some of the low end with a low pass. And then on top of that I've got a string, it's just from a sound front, just an FL native thing, plugin. It sort of holds down the root note of the song, which is A. And on that processing I've just got some reverb on it because put it in this space, otherwise it would sound really like dry and so it wouldn't really fit. So the reverb just sort of lets it settle in the mix and find its own space. And then after the full bar to that, I've got that snap which I make from Vengeance. I've got the chords which play throughout and the vocal drop. Underneath the chords I've just got sort of rhyme and crackle, just add a bit of atmosphere to it, just saying in the background, it's a bit of ear candy. Yeah, the vocal drop plays throughout, which I think is something, which is something I was going to change, and I had changed, just because it didn't really fit what I was going for with the vocal song. I think I was, in this point in the song I was very much in the mindset of making an instrumental song because I'm so used to that. But it still sounded really cool. So that plays on for 12 bars, and then it transitions just to chords of its own, which is sort of the sort of the pre-chorus moment I see. Which goes on for 8 bars, the same sort of thing. Then it goes into the build-up. Yeah. The original, I experimented with some ideas. I had like sort of hi-hat here, which worked to an extent, but I didn't really like it. I thought it wasn't anything massively special. I experimented with those different things in this. Just try and give it some variation throughout. And just, yeah, a couple more effects I put in it. It's this sort of cymbal transition, which I use in like every single song of mine. Yeah, and the last one I want to talk about is just the processing on the chords, because although I have to export it, I do still have to process and change. So it's here. I remember when I opened up the sound exit for the render, it was really, the sound was already so cool because I did its own sort of effects chain on it, add sort of an EQ on it, take out that low end and adding some reverb and some delay. It did everything sort of for me, which I don't normally do, but it was such a nice sound the way it came out of the box. I didn't really want to touch it and sort of edit it too more. So in this, I just take out that sort of low end, which I really don't want, and I just automate. I've got a sidechain which I've automated using the Kickstart, which is this automation kit here. And it just adds a bit. Yeah, sidechain is normally to create. Its purpose is to create reverb frequencies and sort of duck it. So but I like it. It's just an effect because it adds bounce to the song, and it's just quite nice. It just adds a nice little effect, which I quite like. It's not necessarily its purpose, but that's how I sometimes like to use it. Yeah, and the last thing I'll talk about is just the end of the drop, which is just the chords from the first 4 bars with a kick and clap. Which is really simple, which I just did to try and have that sort of transition period where you move them from the drop to the verse, because then that would eventually lead to the second verse. Yeah, and there's nothing really much I can talk about with this demo. I've got a low pass automation chord here, which just automates the chords a bit. So it sort of fades out. And then it hits back in to try and create that sort of more hard-hitting drop. Yeah, that's really it for the how I made this demo. In terms of things that I thought it needed to be changed because I think the first verse is a million miles off what I wanted as it's going to be a vocal track. I didn't think it was, essentially I don't think it was very good. Looking back, I still don't think it's very good. This song is meant to be for a vocalist, and that's how it turned out to be. So that's how I wanted it to be. I think having the vocal chop and the pluck chords that early sort of ruined it. I'm going to try and I was going to try and experiment using the piano chords, maybe using them a bit more in the first verse, and also with the drop I wanted to experiment maybe just using a different melody and maybe evolving away from the vocal chop, or just using the vocal chop in a different way and just adding more drum elements in, and I could just do stuff like this, just sort of add more energy straight away to add that sort of summery sort of pop music vibe, which was what I was going for. Yeah, that's how I made the developed demo for All I Know, which is one of the songs I'm working on for this project. Thanks.